name's Kevin Langdon. I'm 55 years old. I've been a science fiction fan since 1971, 72. I was born in 1966, where Star Trek had just come out a month before, and I've been a fan ever since I started watching that. Personally, science fiction to me deals with science fact, what we know today, and taking it one step beyond. When you look at science fact, you're talking Mercury missions, shuttlecraft, space station. We're sending probes to other planets. The Voyager probes are now beyond our solar system. Things like that are science fact, and science fiction takes it one step further. Like, you're actually meeting aliens, you're being transported to other universes, you're going above logic, what we know today, and that's how I feel science fiction. I relate to it because I love science. I like astronomy and science, when it comes to technology, spacecraft, things like that. This is a golden age for space exploration. SpaceX, Boeing, they're all creating their own spacecraft. I find that fascinating, and what the possibilities are going to be. So we're going to make our own science fiction.
As smooth as I'd seen it. We had phenomenal shots all the way through the landing burn. You heard the sonic booms. This booster has landed for the 8th time. That is the 89th recovery of an orbital.
Their idea of what we would be doing in the future is we have flying cars. You don't have flying cars. We have something kind of close, but nothing like the Jetsons or anything like that. When you look at cell phone technology, satellite technology, spacecraft technology, we've mapped the human DNA. We have computers now that are trillions of operations a second. You could actually think of your iPhone has so far advanced technology than the original Apollo spacecraft. They had huge computers, rooms full of computers to do simple calculations that we take for granted on a cell phone today. So we have moved far beyond what I ever thought we would be able to do. As a science fiction person, I would love to be on the Enterprise or be transported somewhere or whatnot, but that probably won't happen in my lifetime.
Captain, I picked up another ship.
When I started out watching science fiction, I was just maybe 5 or 6 years old. My dad loved it, and he transported that love of science fiction into me. We would watch Doctor Who, the Third Doctor, the Fourth Doctor, my all-time favorite.
Well, no, Doctor, you can't go.
Can't. There's no such word as can't.
Oh.
Why not?
Well, you can't go rushing off and leave them in the lurch.
Can't I? Goodbye.
We would watch Time Tunnel, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Lost in Space, Star Trek, all these things were, you could watch them on a Saturday morning. And then I would watch Creature Feature, which is I love that. It's like basically they had a movie every Saturday from the 50s and 60s that, The Blob, things like that, it's kind of cheesy, but back then I was just a little kid, so I mean I would watch this stuff, and I love the old classic movies. My dad actually brought home reel-to-reel movie tapes, and we would watch Universal classics, and Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Invisible Man, things like that just really sparked my imagination on what was possible. And I love the horror aspect of it. That's why I loved Alien. You didn't really see the alien, but you knew he was there. And what you saw was terrifying. They did an amazing job with that movie. It's still today like one of my top movies. Anyway, when it comes down to it, if I were to choose something for somebody and say, hey, I think you should watch this, if you really are interested in science fiction, I have to stay with Star Trek. Star Wars is great, but there's so many stories. The original Star Trek was only 3 seasons. But then Next Generation was 7. Deep Space Nine was 7. Voyager was 7. Enterprise was 4. And now we have all the new Star Trek out. Some of it's great, some of it not so much. But I mean, still worth watching because you get to see how they think about Star Trek today and how they're trying to apply it to today's standards. That's why I love Star Trek, because back in the old days, they would have these characters and stories that would actually teach you about life, teach you about where your place is in that life, choosing good decisions. You don't really get that from Star Wars. Star Wars is a great ride to jump on. Jedi and the Force and Darth Vader and the Empire and Rebels, it's all great fun, but Star Trek actually goes more in depth with what's going on in society today. And it's clearly the case back in the 60s, Vietnam, war protests, peaceniks, all that stuff was just huge back then, and they actually talked about it in science fiction terms. So if you're into politics and whatnot, they actually did a pretty good job. And they did it with a very low budget, and they told some great stories. That's why one of the reasons I love Doctor Who. Their budget was pretty bad, but I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it was the characters and the stories that I love. My name's Kevin Langdon, and I'm really glad I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you ever get into science fiction, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. And live long and prosper.